In today's lesson, we're going to continue writing equations from real-world situations. We're going to be using all four operations, so it's going to be important to read information carefully, help identify keywords or phrases to determine the correct operation. Something you can use to support you with this is a graphic organizer like this, and I will supply this with you in class. And this will support your ability to find keywords or phrases when you're stuck with a problem. As we read through the example, we want to be thinking about what is this telling me to do? How can I determine the correct operation? So in this first example, we're told 84 is decreased, and we want to determine how much is left based on the values below. Okay, so I'm going to answer all four parts of this, okay, and parts A, B, and C are going to support me with my ability to write an equation using a variable. Now in this example, we have the word decreased, okay, meaning something is getting smaller, so I'm going to subtract. It's important to notice I'm saying 84 is decreased, which means I'm going to do 84 minus, not minus 84. So I'll show my work for A, B, and C, and even when we can solve some of those mentally, it will support your ability to write the equation if you at least write it out. So I'm going to start with A, and I'm going to take 84 and I'm subtracting 8. When I do out my subtraction, okay, so if I'm decreasing 84 by 8, I should get 76. In B, we're going to take 84 and decrease it by 15. So this time I'm going to subtract 15. So we notice our answer is different depending on what we're decreasing it by. Lastly, C says 43, which means I'm going to take 84 and decrease that by 43. If I look at my work for A, B, and C, that again will support me when I'm trying to determine the equation when I have a variable. The variable is something that can change. So when I look at the three answers I have, I want to see what changed in each of those problems. Okay, I subtracted 8, then I subtracted 15, then I subtracted 43. Okay, so what I'm taking away is what is changing. So when I write my equation, my variable will go where I have those numbers. Okay, 84 is staying the same, so when I write this equation, I'll leave 84 as itself, and then again, what I'm taking away will be represented by the variable x. Okay, as you work through more examples, you want to, again, continue to find keywords or phrases to help you with that. Okay, and we're using, again, the actual values to get ourselves to being able to write the equation. Let's go over one more example. Okay. Usain Bolt runs 8 miles a day, and we want to know how far he runs in total based on the values below. Okay, so total here is going to help me, and total could mean that I'm doing two possible operations. Okay, so I need to think a little bit deeper into what the question is telling me to decide between those two. Okay, so in the first part, we're told he runs 8 miles a day, which means that's how much he runs in one day. And we're going to use that information to figure out how far he goes in different amounts. Okay, so the A, B, C, and D all represent days. So I'm going to multiply. Okay, if I tried to add, because I saw the word total, that would be adding miles and days, which are two very different units that we don't want to combine. So for A, I'm going to say I have 9 days times 8 for each day. 9 times 8 would be 72. Okay. If I want to figure out how far he runs in 16 days, I take 16 days, I multiply it by 8 miles for each of those. And I'm going to have to do out my multiplication here to the side. 128. C, how far will he go in 35? So I take the 35 days and I'm multiplying it by 8 miles a day. Again, when you're multiplying, you're going to want to show your work out here to the side. Okay, and again, when I go to write the equation, if I'm looking at values for A, B, and C, I'm going to put the variable x where I have something that changes. So again, 9, 16, and 35, those first numbers are all different, whereas we multiplied each of them by 8. So my equation will be x is replacing the number that changed, and times 8 is the same each time. Okay, I'm going to use that dot for multiplication, especially because I have the variable x. Okay, so what this tells me in this equation is if I want to know, no matter what that value is for x, multiply it by 8, and that will tell me his total distance. And as you continue working on this, it takes a little bit more time and effort to read through the information and find the correct operation. Of course, continue to use charts like this to support you, and eventually as we continue to practice, this should get easier.